Welcome, everybody, to week 4 of the Triple B Fooseball College Picks. That's right, 20 minutes or less. We've been doing very good so far, but let's get it started. Shane, do you have anything to talk about, some college matchups from last week?
Well, I'll tell you what, we nailed the Florida upset. That was a big one, and we've been real successful the past couple weeks, knock on wood. We've picked a total of 4 upsets and
Ooh, nice.
three games that more than covered the spread.
That's
and Colorado from last week, if it wasn't for a blown call, a horseshit call in overtime, Colorado State would have won. So, I'll talk about Colorado. I'm selling. If we were buying and selling stocks, I'd sell that stock right now.
Okay. Well, you know what? Let's get it in. First matchup of week 4. This pick right here, this game right here.
The only reason it's on the list, Bob, is it's regional.
Okay, that's okay.
And I'm interested in seeing how bad the quarterback play of Pitt is. And I think Pitt shit the bed against a backup quarterback. And the backup quarterback didn't play a half. He played 95% of the snaps.
Okay.
And they didn't. And Pitt didn't score 1 touchdown. So, and he threw interceptions to a piss poor West Virginia backfield. So I'm just saying the defensive backs aren't great, but they look stellar against Pitt. So we'll see how bad Pitt is, or are they not quite as bad as we thought. But North Carolina is going to skin them.
Okay. North Carolina. Yeah, I'm taking North Carolina too. Pitt doesn't have nothing for me.
At Acrisure. That's the other thing.
It doesn't matter. North Carolina. Pitt just doesn't have it this year. Alan, thanks for tuning in. Rich Smoke, what's your pick?
I'm definitely taking North Carolina. Although I will say Pittsburgh's defense has actually not been the worst. I think it's almost like the real life Steelers there. If the offense would be a little bit better, they'd be dynamic. It's just that offense is really what kills them. They only gave up 27 against Cincinnati, only allowed 17 against West Virginia. But UNC is a whole different high-powered offense. So I think UNC wins this by probably double digits, to be honest with you.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, all 3 of us took the sweep on that. Julie, thanks for tuning in. Okay, next matchup, guys. Here we go. Go ahead, Shane.
Ooh, Auburn and Texas A&M. This is just a good old-fashioned SEC matchup. Jimbo Fisher, he's going to have to pack his bags because they're going to fire his ass. Auburn is going to beat Texas A&M. And here's the thing. Auburn has a very high likelihood of losing based off of the index there. That's a 12 noon game, but I'm taking Auburn and the points. But go ahead, Rich.
That's probably next.
I'll go. I'll tell you what.
Ahead,
that's okay. I'm going to take Auburn because I don't know if Texas A&M can do it. I'm just going to throw a dart on a bulletin board there, and that's what I'm going with. Doesn't matter about spreads, but that's what I'm taking. Rich Smoke, all up to you, brother.
I got to take Texas A&M in this game. They were a really big, high-powered team coming in. Obviously, the reason why they're probably not ranked is they did take that 15-point loss to Miami, but they actually played really well in that game. By no means did they give it up. I don't know. I like Auburn. I just think that Texas A&M is a really good squad coming up. We're facing a couple good opponents in a row here, but I'm gonna take A&M by at least 7.
Jimbo Fisher's not long for the SEC world. They're not going to have they're going to barely make a bowl. But
that's a bold prediction there, Shane.
It is.
That's why you guys know the college stuff. I'm just like
it's a tough conference.
I'm the slice of cheese in the bread.
SEC, Bob, is like the old AFC North.
Oh, well, that was good watching football back then. Okay, our next matchup. Yeah, back in the day. Here we go. Here you go, Shane.
Okay, Bubba, this is my upset. This is my big upset.
Okay.
Ole Miss, I'll tell you what. If your quarterback's name is Jackson Dart, okay, it's like that quarterback for Notre Dame. Women are sliding off the seats in those stadiums because he's the most handsome guy in football. So Jackson Dart, last week he had 3 touchdowns, 300 yards, and I think he had a 66% percentage rating for completions. He's lighting them up. Ole Miss, Nick Saban, they were running right down the middle on him. That's the worst defensive performance I've ever seen. Alabama is going to lose 3 games this year. Write it down.
Ooh. Ooh, man. And you know what? I'm going to catch you on that train too, Shane. I'm taking the upset of Old Miss because one of my coworkers, one of her kids goes to Old Miss, and that's why I'm taking it. Got nothing to do with sports, just because it's, how it is. So, Rich, who you taking, brother?
I'm definitely on the Ole Miss train on this one. I'll tell you what, I'll actually take Shane a little bit further on this one.
Okay.
I think if there's one year where it happens, and I'm not saying it's definite, but if you look at their schedule, there's definitely some big trap games in here for Bama this year.
Mm-hmm.
If there's a year where they go unranked, there's a very good chance they're either bottom 20 this year.
Wow.
They might even fall out. I mean, there's a lot of really good games. I mean, Mississippi State's no joke. Tennessee is no joke. There's a lot of other teams in there that can definitely catch them off guard. And I think it all starts to unravel right here. They've looked terrible so far this season. That Milroe kid needs to hit the pine because he's.
So you're saying they might not even be ranked after this game if they lose?
Well, I'm not saying this game. I'm saying
by the end of the
season. A couple more games.
Okay.
Yeah,
USF ran it down their throats. I mean, look like men.
Listen,
that never happens to Alabama.
USF is not a terrible program, but they're not supposed to be able to compete against Bama. And when you only score 17 over 3, and you have one of the highest recruit classes every year in college, there's just no excuse for that. Ole Miss is going to run the table on this game.
Gotcha. Yeah, there's no excuse for that kind of offense performance.
No.
Okay, next game. Here we go. But
another good one. BYU isn't as bad as everybody makes them out to be. They're a decent program. This is going to be a good game, but I'm going to take Texas.
Yeah, I think it's going to be close, but not close enough. I'm also going to take Texas. Rich Smoke with the smoke.
You guys are very, very nice to Baylor here. I think it's not going to be close. I think Texas is going to stampede right on through them. It's going to be bad. It's going to be a bull ride right through the heart of Baylor country. It's going to be bad. I'm taking Texas by at least 14.
Ooh.
Okay, they Baylor. When they get on track, and they usually play a couple games where they score 50 points. They usually do against West Virginia and Texas and TCU. They light them up.
You guys, if I ever take the favorite, I always go big with it. I go big. I don't go just Texas. I'm
go big or go home. Go big or go home.
I'm going to go at least a decent spread on it. So
Gotcha. Robert, thanks for tuning in on the Facebook feed, guys. If you guys got any picks, I'll throw them out there to the guys here. So our next matchup for Week 4, Shazam.
Woo. Suey Pig. You got the Razorbacks and LSU. They're going to go into. They're going to go into Baton Rouge and Death Valley, and they're going to have to play a number 12 LSU team that their only loss is to Florida State, which they're a top 3 team. It's going to be a close game. I'm picking the Tigers.
Yeah, I'm going to go with. It's hard to win down there anyway, and I'm going to go with LSU also. Rich Smoke, who you taking, brother?
Yeah, LSU. I mean, aside from that Florida State game that he was mentioning, they've been pretty dominant. I mean, Mississippi State's not the best team in the world, but to still beat them up 41-14 last week, you can play some football. Mississippi State always has a good defense, at least. I think Arkansas is going to take a hell of a shot, but LSU by at least 10 in this game.
I mean, 10. You're taking them by 10.
If not more.
Woo! That's 2
Arkansas
games back
always
to back.
has 3 games a season where they punch above their weight. This might be it, but I still think they fall short and LSU wins.
You might have to start putting the spreads on there so I can try to go against the spread.
I will. I'll do that. Next time.
Well, because if you start doing the spreads and you're like Jimmy the Greek, brother.
Well, I'm just saying, if I'm going to take a favorite team, if they're favorited by 10, maybe I'll even.
Yeah. I'll put the spreads on next week.
Okay, here we go. The next game, next matchup. Ooh.
All right, this is a local yokel fan favorite, so I put it on here because Iowa once again. Always plays Penn State tough. They're favored to win big time. But here's the thing. It's going to be a low-scoring event. It's going to be another one of those Big Ten snooze fests where it's just a defensive battle. You might get 14. You might get 17 points if you're lucky. Penn State's going to pull this one out, though.
Yeah, I maybe Iowa scores maybe 17 points, maybe 10 to 17 points all game.
Yeah,
I'm going with the favorite. I'm a Penn State fan. I'm a homer. What can I say? So I'm going with the 7th-ranked Nittany Lions. Rich Smoke.
Yeah, I mean, Iowa struggled too much against teams. I thought they were going to dominate early on. I thought they were going to follow a lot of the success they've had before. But I mean, barely being able to score over Iowa State and Utah State. Not that they're bad teams, but again, you're talking about teams like that versus coming in and playing. I think they're in Happy Valley, correct? I believe that's where they are this week. Are they?
Yeah, University Park. Yeah. So here's the thing: Iowa barely beat Iowa State. Iowa State last week lost to Miami of Ohio.
Yep.
Or Ohio.
Exactly.
Excuse me, Ohio.
Yep.
The Ohio Bobcats. And when he was walking out, Campbell, the coach for Iowa State, sorry, a fan was heckling him, saying he's on the hot seat. He wanted to punch this guy's lights out. The police had to hold him back.
Oh man, that's
So
crazy.
that's Iowa's going to have. They're going to play above their weight class here and play up to Penn State's level, but they've struggled against an Iowa State team that lost to a small school.
Yep.
Okay, you guys know your shit, man. You guys really do. Here we go.
All right, Willie the Wildcat. Do you know that's the name of the mascot out in Manhattan, Kansas? I went to a game out there. Fantastic. They have Ozzy Osbourne playing, and they have a train coming in, and it's fantastic. But UCF is a good program. This is going to be a very, very good game to flick back and forth, check out at 8 o'clock. I put it on there because it's going to be fun, but I'm picking Kansas State.
You know what? I'm going to dare to be different. I'm going to take UCF. I'm going to dare to be different. What are you laughing for?
It's a good one to take.
Did I take your smoke?
Yeah.
I'll let you
Well,
explain it. I'll let you explain it because I have nothing to add.
No,
I
it's
just threw it out there.
It was just funny because you come out and you go, oh, I want to dare to be different. I'm like, well, there goes me being different. Thanks a lot. No, I mean, they look pretty good this year. UCF looks like they could be the real deal eventually. They've been building that program up for a long time. And I think it's funny because like UCF and USF, ironically enough, have been with the two programs I've noticed get dramatically better against good teams. I'm actually going to go upset because I saw that Kansas State is favored here. And as you see the tracker there, I'm going to take UCF in this game 100%. I would take the spread too. -4, I'll take UCF +4 all day.
See, right. That's a good bet.
That's why you're the smartest man in Philly, brother. You know.
I got trouble for that. I'll have to tell you about that after the show.
Okay, here we go. Next matchup. Ooh.
This is not that I'm biased, but this is going to be a good. This is going to be a good game. Okay, guys, you got the Raiders coming into Morgantown on a 3:30 game on Saturday. Morgantown's a tough place to play. Texas Tech seems to have the Mountaineers number, but I think West Virginia's going to pull it out. This is a great one. I'm going to be watching it for sure. But go ahead, guys.
I figured you are, and just because you're on the show and you're a big you're a West Virginia alumni, I'm going to take the Mountaineers by 3. How's that?
Ooh, okay,
I'll take them by 3 for you.
I gotta go against the grain on this one. I gotta go Texas Tech. I'm sorry. I mean, and again, I'm trying to stay away from the favorites this year, but it's just when you watch West Virginia play that Pittsburgh team and only put up 17, I expected way more out of that offense. It looked like it was kind of stale for most of the game. Defense was solid, but the offense just looked terrible. And then not only that, but Texas Tech has had a really good game against Oregon, only lost by 8, which was down to the wire, by the way.
Yep.
I mean, they just played some really good football. I mean, they lost to a Wyoming team by like 2 or 3 points. I'm going to take Texas Tech here. I'm going to take them by 5.
And Wyoming played – I don't know who they played last week, but they played them – didn't they upset someone else?
Yeah, Wyoming actually looks pretty – oh, no, that's actually the first game of the year. Was
They played another game and they upset. Who did they upset? I'll have to look it up real quick.
Well, no, they lost last week to Texas.
Oh, that's right. They played them close. They were winning in the first half. That's right. So Wyoming's no slouch this year.
It finished out 31-10, but it was a one-score game for the first half. And Texas kind of
so Rich is guns up. That's what they say at Texas Tech. Guns up.
Guns up. I like that. Well, guns up for the next matchup. Here we go.
All right, get your tomahawks out, and if you're a Clemson fan. This goes back to night. Like I would just watch the TV show where they talked about the '99 Florida State team with Chris Wanke and
oh my
and how just fantastic they were, and it harken back to that year when Clemson played them tough. It's going to be the same type of thing. It's going to be close, but I'm picking the Seminoles to win by 1 touchdown.
Wow. I'm going to take Florida State to beat them by 13.
That's good.
To be fair, I have Florida State winning this one as well, by the way, and I would take them probably by about a touchdown as well. But I just want to say, Boston College made it real close. I mean, 31-29 came down to the crunch time kind of thing there. And Clemson's Clemson. I mean, they've played against some pretty good teams this year too. Their record doesn't look great, but they've played against pretty good Duke squad, and I mean, they dominated when they were supposed to. But yeah, I'll take Florida State. But I'm real nervous after seeing that. I caught the end of that game last week.
This is a good one. It's going to be one to watch.
Yep.
I'm hoping 13, but I'm not.
The problem with the average college fan is they look for the rankings and go, "Oh, that team's number 4 versus unranked."
Yeah, don't look at the rankings.
It doesn't always work that way, man.
Yeah, and people don't take my opinions on college because if you did, you'd be in the poorhouse.
Because there's teams that West Virginia historically have beat, like Baylor.
Yep.
And then Texas Tech, they haven't done well against. And they've done well against Texas, and TCU they've done well against. But there's certain teams like Oklahoma State, Oklahoma, they just can't win. So
we picked 4 upsets. I think 3 of them were against ranked opponents. I believe. I think 3.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
We have the Missouri one, but
we're doing pretty good. Yeah,
we're ahead of the game.
Yeah.
Okay. Is this the main event right here?
This is.
The main event.
Oh boy.
This is like finding out you're going to homecoming. Like 2 days before, and there's a girl with there's like the 2 ugliest girls to pick from, and you don't know which one to ask. This is Ohio State and Notre Dame for me.
I'd go Stag.
And I know Rich is going to pick Notre Dame, so I'm going to pick Ohio State.
Well,
that's all I have to say about these 2 teams.
Well, I don't like either of them. I mean, I do like Jerome Bettis and Joe Montana. But Notre Dame reminds me of Western Pennsylvania's 5-year high schools. You know what I mean? When they recruit and they just kill everybody in the high school programs. That's what Notre Dame is to me. But I'm taking Notre Dame over Ohio State because once again, I don't like anything from Ohio except for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and the Football Hall of Fame. So
hey, I'm okay with that.
I'm not giving any scores. I'm picking Notre Dame.
I like Notre Dame's uniforms a lot. With that green, that first game, that was sharp.
Rich.
Now I'm gonna take Notre Dame, and I'll tell you the real reason why. My fiance might come across this on Facebook, and she's a really big Penn State fan. So out of fear for my living situation, but no, even outside of that, the only thing that makes me worried about Ohio State, and I used to like Ohio State for the record, but what worries me about them is they have not played anybody yet. Now, granted, Notre Dame hasn't played the best guys either, but I'm worried that Ohio State comes into this game only halfway on that gas pedal because a lot of these guys have had it really easy. I mean, just to give you a couple of things real fast, we're ahead of time. They beat up on Indiana 23-3. They beat Youngstown State 35-7.
Penguins.
Which, by the way, they should have scored way more than 35 against Youngstown State, by the way. Then they beat Western Kentucky 63-10. Okay, fine. And now they're coming into this game after 3 very easy games, and 2 of them they underperformed, I would say. So.
And Notre Dame's had a rough couple games. They've actually been challenged.
I mean, North Carolina State's always been they're not phenomenal.
Yep. They have a really good quarterback.
They're typically ranked at this time of year, to be honest with you, most of the time. I mean, they have a pretty good quarterback there. Defense is solid. Beat them 45-24. Central Michigan is not elite by any means, but they still went over there and handled their business and beat them up. Again, this could go either way, and I think Notre Dame is ready for this. They have them and then Duke back-to-back, actually. So it's actually a pretty tough schedule here. But I think Notre Dame comes in here with something to prove. Everybody's picking Ohio State all over. Every gambling site you can go to, they're picking Ohio State everywhere. So just because of that, I got to take my boys, the underdogs, the Fighting Irish. And I hope Ohio State gets absolutely demolished. Can't stand them anymore. I know,
Rich, you have one that you didn't get on the list that you want on the list, and I have one I would have taken Pitt off the list that I think might be a better game, and that's Oklahoma and Cincinnati.
Yeah, that's a pretty good game.
I think that'll be a good one.
Yeah, I was torn between 2 honorable mentions. I'll just go with the one, just because I'm a hometown favorite. I do like Temple and Miami's matchup. Temple hasn't been playing well at all recently, but and me and Shane talked a little bit before the show. We're waiting for one of these games to kick off where an absolute nobody gets an upset. Well, if there was one of those, Temple usually pulls out pretty well. I think they're actually at Lincoln Financial Field.
Yeah, they're playing up in Philadelphia.
Yeah. So they're 2-1 coming up against the 3-0 Hurricanes. I mean, they had one really bad game, but and the only other one I guess you could mention there, and I'll just say it.
Yeah, maybe that Miami has a hangover after playing a tough Texas A&M game. They're looking past Temple. Temple's been known to upset folks. I can see that happening.
Yeah,
Wow.
and then just the last one, just to spit it out there, and I'm sure you can probably agree. I was actually shocked you didn't pick this one. Colorado and Oregon is definitely a really good mention as well.
Yeah, I was gonna put that on the list, but actually that should have been number one for me. But I must have left that one off. But that definitely is going to be a fantastic game.
There's a few. I mean, UCLA, Utah is good. I mean, there's definitely
Oregon. I'm picking Oregon there. Colorado State's going to lose.
Well, these are Shane's. Like Shane makes these picks of these matchups, and he does a great job. And like you guys can do honorable mentions
that's
every week.
That's going to be too good of a game. You know, I don't really see. I mean, I don't know.
This week was also really tough, and Shane does a lot of this on his own. And typically, I agree with that anyway. I mean, again, it's hard to come up with 10 when you have a lot. This week is a lot of good.
Yeah, there's a lot of good matchups.
I mean, Washington.
Yeah, I had it on the list and I dropped it off. And what happened is that Pitt slipped in there because we are a Pittsburgh area and I have to have a local team. So blame it on Pitt.
Yeah, Cincinnati's a good one. Oregon and Colorado's a good one. And if you're a fan of Oregon State or Washington State, that's going to be a phenomenal game, I think, as well.
Yeah,
they're both towards the bottom of that ranking. Both of them have something to prove. They're both going to come in hot. Again, we only have room for 10. So those are the 3 honorable mentions this week.
Yeah, I should have definitely put that one on there. It would have been top 3.
That's okay.
All
and
right,
once again, we did it under 20, and we did all the 10 under 20. And I tell you what, everybody that tuned in on Facebook and YouTube, thank you so much. Next week, Wednesday night, we'll do the NFL picks as we do. Rich Smoke, Shane, and myself. See you guys. Everybody have a great weekend, and subscribe to the Triple B Experience. See you guys. Bye.